You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Glee. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Glee news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Glee.
Hello, Glee fans.
Hello.
And people who kiss girls and like it.
Absolutely.
I am Roxy Striar, along with Mia Smith.
Hey, hey.
And Billy Nilles.
Hi.
And in the booth, we have the fabulous DJ Jessie Janity. Hello.
What up?
Okay, so what are we thinking about this episode overall? We're hearing kind of mixed reviews right now. A little sensitive to some people. What do we think?
I liked it.
Yes, we're good with
I
it.
was all good with this week's episode. I'm not in the negative camp.
So, Camp Positive?
Yes.
I'll join you in Camp Positive, I think. Which camp are you a part of right now?
I am Camp Positive. Overall, I thought it was great. Another Glee episode, very Glee-tastic in that way, with as far as song choices and storylines. But I don't know. I have points to make as we continue on. But overall, I thought the episode was great.
Overall, I felt that they were killing it on the music tonight.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
So much music. There's like 5 songs.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs.
6.
We heard
And
6
they were so
songs
in
tonight.
I enjoyed every single song.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Really no major low points for me this episode, which is good. It always makes it way more enjoyable to talk about when I'm
we actually
laughing. We actually like it. No, so I would probably give this a 8.5.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Wow.
Agreed.
We're all in agreement here.
There.
So that could just be our discussion. All right, we're ready to wrap up
Yeah.
now. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Puck and Shelby and the whole situation going on here.
Yes.
And a little bit about Quinn, too. So I might be confused. I don't know if you guys are confused. I'm just going to throw this out there. Did Puck and Shelby sleep together?
Yes.
Yes.
So that happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't see it happen, but we saw the aftermath.
Yeah.
It was the oddest cut. It made no
It
sense.
felt like there should have
Editing.
been a commercial in between rather than gone straight to it. is what it felt like.
100%. So we see them at the hospital. Puck's in class, and Shelby calls, and Puck runs over to the hospital, and Beth had fallen, and her teeth had gone through her lip,
Yeah.
Right.
and she was in the hospital. And Shelby says, "I didn't have anybody else to call," and Puck is there. First of all, on that note, inappropriate or appropriate that that's who she called, knowing he was in school?
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate, even though it is the baby's father.
But the baby's father that has really actually no ties to the baby.
That's
like
true.
the baby's adopted. That's her kid, not.
It's not the baby's dad.
Yeah.
It's the father. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, definitely it's inappropriate in the fact that he's a student, but she has been letting him into the kid's life, and he has been there with her for these past couple of weeks at least. So I don't know that it was completely inappropriate because she, number one, she didn't have anybody else to call, and the girl also responds and recognizes him as something that she obviously likes.
Yeah.
And she was in like a trauma situation.
Would have been better as a text. Yo,
Well, he still
it
would
is in the hospital.
he still would have gone. So
Sorry
it
if you're in
matter.
class. XO, Shelby. No, I think that it's hard because Puck's 18 and he has a kid. And maybe it's not his legally, but biologically it's his child. And he treats it as if it was his child.
Right.
And his kid's in the hospital.
And he's been allowed to treat it as his child so far
Right.
by
Treat
Shelby.
her. Treat
Exactly.
her.
And that's within her right to allow him to do as well. So it's hard because as much as he is a kid in school, he's an adult. And so I don't know. I think that it's a tricky situation there.
But it wasn't that, she called to say, hey, come be here for Beth, who's hurt and could use, her father figure in her life. It was like, hey, come be here for me. I'm
That's
freaking
totally
out.
true.
Like that's kind of the role that he played. And that's the
Yeah.
part that's not cool.
She didn't say Beth really needed her dad. She said, I really needed somebody and had nobody else to call.
Exactly.
So that's a really good point there. But then they cut right to the scene that they are putting their clothes back on.
Yeah.
She was like rubbing his leg while he was under the sheets. It was a very odd choice of, I don't know.
And we're sure
shots.
that they
It was
slept
weird.
together. I was like, wait,
Yeah, because
were they about to? And she's saying no.
They had,
No, they did.
because then
Okay.
he said that he could go 4 more times because he
Yeah.
was so young. So they definitely had.
Okay, bizarre. And then she kicks him out.
Right.
A little too late, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Have they been doing this before? It kind of seemed to me like a.
It seems
No,
to me
no,
that
no,
that
no.
was the first time it had happened.
all right.
It was.
Maybe I'm the only person in the country who is confused. Jeez. I was like, wait a second.
The conversation was very weird. You had to really like listen to what
Are
they were
you saying I don't listen?
No.
well? I'm just kidding. So then they slept together, and then he leaves by saying, I'm special, and you can't have me now, and something.
Yeah.
Well, for as mature as Puck has been acting lately, and as he thinks he is, he immediately reverted to being a child when
Right.
she realized that this wasn't a good situation. And he stomped out of there, acting like he had been rebuffed, where she wasn't really saying, I don't want to be with you, but she's realizing she can't, and that it is a bad situation.
Yeah, but it's her own damn fault, kind of. It's like realizing after you slept with the boy that you can't be with him. What a bitch. No?
Well, of course, but everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah,
But he, for all the way he's been presenting himself as so mature, he reverted back to his immaturity so quickly.
That's true.
In the way that he ran to Quinn, and the way that he spilled all the beans to Quinn, like he really quickly flipped back to being a child rather than the man that he thinks he is.
He absolutely did, yeah.
Yeah, in that same moment with him and Quinn, like the advice that he gave to her, I thought was very mature and Puck-like.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see him run over to to Quinn's house, and he is ready to sleep with her. And then once he realizes what her intentions are, which is to have another baby,
Yeah.
the psycho, he does give her good advice, and he's very supportive and says, listen, of all these girls in this town, you're the one who's going to make it out. Which is something that nobody has said to her in
Not once.
maybe ever.
Right.
And do you think that really affected her? It looked like the actress was being very affected, but was Quinn being very affected? Do you know what I mean?
I feel like she was affected, but it all got shot to shit when he.
When he told her what had happened.
It
with
all went right
Shelby,
out the window.
Right.
she realized that she didn't have to work so hard on herself because she still had this thing that she wanted to do that she could now do. You know, it sort of was like, obviously accepting that she's the issue is the hard thing that Quinn has not been able to do for 3 years now. And she was finally at the point where she realized she had no other options. And then right after she had said that with Puck, then he gave her another option rather than doing the hard thing. And of course, she's going to do that instead, I think.
Exactly.
I think.
And we didn't hear him say exactly what happened, but we're assuming
It
that
seems pretty
said,
obvious.
We're assuming that he said, I slept with her, I love her, I want to be with her, we've been hooking up.
Yeah.
Something.
And kind of going back to that, the reason you're saying everybody makes mistakes, but in my opinion, they've already hooked up. They haven't slept together maybe, but they've already hooked up. So does that count? I mean, is this just a one-time mistake thing? I think that she definitely could be at fault here. You're saying everybody makes mistakes, but I don't really have much sympathy for her.
I mean, like, with Puck's emotions and whatever, it's a mistake. Obviously, this is something she's going to be fired for no matter what, because one time is one time.
Yeah.
But I do understand, I mean, she still is a human being, and human beings still, like, fall in
Feel
the
for
heat
what
of the
they want.
moment. There was the heat of the moment. She was worried about the kid, and he came there and was protecting her. And
Right,
you
but
know.
kind of what I'm saying is, what's the difference then? If one time is one time, then what's 20 times?
No.
When the heat of the moment is over, then she realized she came out of the fog of him being the protector, and then reality sunk back in.
Which is what?
That he's an 18-year-old student at my school.
Right,
then
but if
again-
she's going to be fired anyway, and she does have feelings for him, and she's already done it, you know?
No, I see where you're coming from.
Even though maybe it's
Just 'cause
she
it'd
feels
be so
morally
creepier
wrong.
to keep doing
yeah.
it more, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. We're
I
sitting
have,
here
like,
so deep
different
in thought, we're all
thoughts
like,
about
is this wrong? I don't know if this is wrong. Honestly, like, I feel like this kind of crap happens all the time, and people don't even know, like, especially in college and high school, people have relationships with their teachers.
Yeah.
It happens. They're your mentors. They're the people you are closest with. They're the people you go to after school for help. And then sometimes it happens.
Yeah, it happened in my school.
It did it? Mm-hmm. I don't know many. I know a couple people it's happened to, not a million, but a couple's a lot. in terms of like, you know what I mean? Like this kind of shit happens. So how people deal with it, it's very interesting to me because I've never been in a situation like this. Yeah. How do you? So if you do it one time and then you realize, oh, this is kind of creepy, does that make you better for not doing it again, or does it really freaking matter at that point?
No, but I think that it's better to stop even after one time than to continue it if you realize that it's a creepy thing. Because then to realize it's creepy and then keep doing it is even creepier.
Yeah.
To be like, well, it's creepy, but I already did it, so I might as well just do it. That's even worse. That's like sort of sociopathic. To be like, I know I'm doing something that's like morally wrong, but whatever, I've already done it once.
The thing is, I don't think that Shelby's like, this is morally wrong. I think she's like, other people would think this is morally wrong.
I think more along the line, because legally it's fine. Realistically, legally, it's fine. I think more along the lines is she's afraid she's going to lose her job. I don't think she thinks it's that.
And the more times you do it, the more likely you are to get caught. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and it's weird. A teacher in a high school student is not like a professor and a college student.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, it's a little
not a TA or anything. Yeah, exactly.
It's a high school boy.
He is very young, and I think part of the problem is he acts very mature, and he looks very old. He acts mature, and she probably looks.
It doesn't help that he's also 27 years old in real life.
Exactly. I mean, if you saw these two together, you would never be like, "What is that young guy doing with that old woman?" Like, it doesn't look like that at all. So, suspending our disbelief on the show, it's like
it is hard. Because
it's hard.
Look like a kid.
It's very hard for me when I look at them. I'm like, well, they look attractive together. You know what I mean? Like, he's a little more punk than she is, but I can dig it, whatever. And then I'm like, wait a second, what's going on actually? Maybe that's why I'm kind of defending him. We're going to have to move on from this topic before I incriminate myself or something. Okay, talking about the elections for a little bit, I'm talking about the Congress election. Mm-hmm. So, congratulations, Bert.
Yay!
Very happy for you. Getting to this point, though, so there's a lot of drama around this. Let's talk about something very sad for a second with Coach Beiste and Cooter and Sue.
Yeah.
What's going on? I have a theory, and I think I might have just made it up just to make myself feel better, but here's my theory. I know you don't I know you don't agree, but whatever.
I totally see I see it. I think it's possible.
I don't think it's possible.
Here's what I think. Well, let me share with everybody else. Maybe I have some supporters out there. Sure. Okay, so maybe Sue went up to Cooter and was like, listen, I need your help on these elections. I need to be seen with a guy, and you're the perfect guy for it. And Cooter's like, no, I'm seeing Coach Beiste. And Sue's like, Coach Beiste shows you no love, but the way to get a girl is through jealousy. And if she sees you with me, she's going to come out and tell you that she loves you. So be with me. And Cooter's like, okay. So then he does. And then the next week, sorry, I'm going to predict this really quickly. Sorry. And next week, they'll be together happily ever after.
Yeah, I don't think that Sue would let somebody blackmail her like that.
That's what's going to happen. What do you mean?
Too.
No, I'm right. No, I'm sure of it. No, I know you're probably right, but that would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would, and I do think
it would be nice.
I do think that there will still be a happy ending for Beiste. I do.
Oh yeah, for sure. It has
see
it
that.
has to.
I don't see him staying with
But
Sue because of how nasty Sue is.
Exactly.
But I do understand his reasoning.
Oh, you think a happy ending for Beiste with Cooter?
With
Yes.
Cooter.
Oh,
I do see that.
absolutely.
After the way it ended with her saying she's in love, and he sort of didn't really know what to do, and that was the last thing we saw.
And that's what he was waiting for.
Right, and that is what he was waiting for. And maybe in his mind he was doing it to push her to do something, but I don't think Sue had any intention of helping him get Shannon. I think that Sue was operating.
Shannon Beiste.
Sue was operating on her own agenda always, and I don't think that she was helping him do anything, whether he thought it would help or not. But I do also understand his reasoning when he explains to her that, every time I ask you on a date, all we do is end up lifting weights, and I'm tired of waiting for you. Like, I don't need a friend to hang out with. That's not what I'm looking for. And so there's only so long you can wait around for someone like that when you're that old. They're
when you're
older.
A geezer.
They're in their, I'm sure, late 30s, if not older than that. And at that point, I feel like you don't want to mess around anymore. You want it to be legitimate or just a friend to not even bother anymore. Yeah. So I completely understand his logic.
So we think that was appropriate for him to say that to her, to kind of lay all of his cards out on the table?
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
so completely.
It kind of bothered me as much as it's what he was feeling when he was like, listen, Beiste, I like you, but I like Sue too. I wanted him to be like, I like you, but you're showing me no interest, and Sue is.
What I
Instead
just-
of-
I wanted him to say that too.
you know what I mean?
What worries me is that a person like that could be with Sue and see what she does and then find her like romantically, emotionally attractive.
It's not somebody we want with our girl.
Right,
Exactly.
right. I'm like, why do you like Sue? Can't you see that she's sort of manipulative and terrible?
No, I
Yeah.
agree with you. And that was another part that
that's
caught me off
worrisome.
guard. I was like, you actually like her? I thought he liked the attention.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he actually liked the person.
Yeah, I don't know. I was really into him at first and into him with Beiste, but now I kind of want Beiste to go get a hot new guy. Unless my theory is right. And I want Beiste to go get a hot new guy and be like, listen, Cooter, meet Booter. And Booter's the best, and Cooter, you suck. You know what I mean? And just like rub it in his face. And then maybe he can be like, actually, I love you. And she can be like, tough shit.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay,
Okay.
Beiste and Cooter could just be together, happily ever after.
Okay, I'm okay with that. As long as, no, honestly, as long as Beiste is happy, because this woman deserves it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think of course, she doesn't know how to do anything else but lift weights with him and all that stuff.
Right.
And punches him when he goes to hold her hand. She's never had anything else, so it's kind of sad. You know what I mean? I feel bad for her.
It was great though this week to get to see her sing
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
for the second time ever.
We haven't even talked about the music yet. Okay, so what do we think about that song?
I
loved
love
it. I
Jolene.
loved it. Oh my god.
I love
Yeah,
that
I
song.
think it is really great
Sing
and
it,
it was
Roxy.
perfect there. Jolene. I got to do like the kind of side to side head nod and like sultrous eyes, whatever. Yeah, but she rocked it.
She did.
I turned to you guys. I was like, "Have we ever heard her sing before?" And you guys remembered when I didn't. Oh, memory failing me again. Okay, but yeah, that's awesome. We haven't heard it in a really long time, at least, and she's got a great voice. She
Yeah.
killed the song.
That song was so fitting too. It was perfect.
Yeah. It's like the equivalent of Jesse's Girl for a woman to sing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's even more intense because Jolene is about
A bitch.
a woman who's
Yeah.
stealing some woman's man, and it's a
Yeah.
woman whose man is being stolen. Whereas Jesse's girl is just like pining for his friend's girlfriend. Jolene is like so much more
Romantic
heartfelt
and love.
and sad.
Is that Dolly Parton?
Yes, yeah, that is.
I don't know why. She makes me laugh every time I think about her. No, okay, so we like that, and we're happy, obviously, that Bert won.
Yes.
And is he going to do good things in office?
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope so.
But is he going to cut the special ed department?
No.
No.
He's just going to be the man. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our other elections across the table. Congratulations, Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wah, wah. Okay, so we wanted Chris Colfer to win,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Of course.
and he didn't.
And he didn't.
And Brittany won by handing out pixie sticks.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we think about Rachel stuffing the ballot box here? Let's talk about first. It was 100% his idea. It was Kurt's idea to stuff the box.
Yeah.
But he never said, Rachel, would you help me?
Right.
Would you mind doing this?
Not once.
And she never said,
I'm
I'm
do
going
it."
to,
do it.
whatever. He ends up not. She ends up doing it.
Right. And doing it poorly.
Yeah, that was not
With
smart.
190
With
extra
more
votes.
ballots than there would
How
be
many people could there be?
students.
First of all, it's only their senior class voting. There can't be more than 500 people in their in their senior class, right?
Right.
And she stuffs 190 extra. What?
Yeah.
Like
That wasn't smart.
It seemed weird. Rachel, the character of Rachel Berry, seems like such a perfectionist that she would never make a mistake like that where she would
she would have counted out
No,
the
I
exact
would
amount
known
of people.
exactly
and
how many
figured,
people
yeah.
she needed to put ballots in for to do that. So that was like
the margin of error that.
right.
Yes.
It just felt something like if it had been someone like Santana doing it for Britney, that would have happened.
Right.
But I can't see that Rachel Berry would ever make such a huge error like that when trying to do something to help a friend that would potentially get either of them into trouble.
100%. And if you guys had been Kurt, would you guys have been upset with Rachel? Or would you have been like, I understand why you did that? Or would you have been pissed?
Both.
Both. I would have been grateful that they had tried to help me, but of course
Yes.
I would have been pissed because they put me in jeopardy.
Well,
And I would have been really pissed until she like went and confessed.
yeah,
because-
definitely. Definitely, because his ass was on the line.
Yeah.
But now we've got some really serious consequences. So a week off of school, no sectionals, and what was the third big
And
thing?
her permanent
and
record.
and her permanent record.
So here's the
which,
thing.
Goodbye, Nyada, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodbye,
Not
Nyada.
only were we trying to help Kurt so that he could get in, but now Rachel's also jeopardized herself from even getting into Nyada because that's on her record when she's going to apply to colleges.
Yeah.
So she's not only screwed Kurt over, but she's also really screwed herself.
How do you explain something like that to college? Like, I feel like is there an additional comment section? Like, well, my best friend was running for president, and I was running against him, but then I dropped out, and then I stuck
It's
the
a
ballot
personal
box.
statement.
It's her personal
For a
essay.
yeah, seriously. Yeah, I was like, crazy bitch. Okay,
Right.
throw that out. But honestly, I was just thinking about it's really sad because now they're both in shitty positions.
Right.
Yeah.
And do we think Glee's doing this on purpose to set it up so that they both have to stay home?
Potentially.
Oh.
I don't think they know what to do with them yet, so they're leaving the option of them having to stay.
Like the reasons that, because clearly they're both talented enough to get in,
Right,
so
but
we
now
wouldn't
here's
accept that excuse.
So now here's a reason that they could not get in. And I think that they don't know what to do with these kids who are going to be graduating, the characters. So they're giving themselves options, I think.
I don't know if I like that.
Me neither.
But I do understand why they're doing it, but it's like, I don't want to see them become troublemakers.
No.
No.
You
I
know,
want,
they've been such good kids for so long.
yeah, I want success
I
stories
mean, I
for
don't
them.
think that either of them will do anything else troublesome down the road, but I do think that this is a big enough thing for both of them to...
It's kind of why the college process is so fucked up. You know what I mean? It's like, wah, wah. Because if you mess up one thing,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter your grades, doesn't matter how talented you are. If you have something, if you've been arrested for whatever it was,
Whenever.
if you were at a party with alcohol underage, even if you weren't drunk, whatever it is, you're screwed.
Right, and you don't even get the opportunity to explain the circumstances because it just prohibits you in the very
Right, your
beginning.
application
Yeah,
is
it's
red
from
flag
even
and
being
tossed out.
yeah.
And that sucks. It's like, why does Rachel Berry stuffing the box for her friend? It'd be different if it was for herself and showing character about being a selfish person, but stuffing the box for her friend have to do with her going to college.
Well, it's really about
I mean,
her
it's just a
breaking the
lack of
rules.
integrity.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah,
in general.
She did the wrong thing.
I guess. I kind of think it was sweet of her.
It-
I'm so used to
there
her
are
doing
parts
so
of
many
it-
bitchy
right.
things.
It is very unselfish of her because she was doing something so selfless for somebody else, but at the same time, it was a very reckless thing to do. And it was a lack of integrity.
Yeah.
And that's what it shows.
And she could have just had, a detention or something, like be suspended for a week and miss sectional.
Yeah.
I felt it's a little harsh.
Well, that was
I
a big
agree.
thing, though, to try and rig a student election. It's not like she just, had some answers to a test or
That's
something.
true.
That's true.
That is true.
Like-
Okay.
Does anybody understand why, when Rachel was running, she was pulling first, and now that she's not running, Kurt's pulling last, and Brittany's pulling first? It's like,
Those numbers, I don't know how
doesn't-
yeah, it
Rachel would have
didn't make
ever
sense.
been polling first.
how was Rachel ever pulling first and over Brittany, but then Rachel dropping out didn't make Kurt go up, it made Brittany go up.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
You know what I mean?
That part didn't.
It didn't make any sense.
What was the other thing on tonight's episode that we were like,
And she was winning by a lot. Like it was like 17 or
Yeah.
something. It was like,
yeah, Glee with the unanswered questions.
I know.
But like, I'll let it go because this episode was really music filled.
Yeah.
And it was packed and it was awesome. Wait, just talking about Rachel for a second. How Carrie Bradshaw was she when she said, I'll have to move to New York without my best gay?
I know.
I was like, oh my God, this is Sex and the City musical edition. Like,
Yes.
That's literally what I was thinking. Freaking awesome. And
My favorite
we could
line,
use a
though,
little Sex and the
I wrote
City.
it down in that same whole monologue that she was in her inner monologue. She
Yeah.
had said that she hadn't been this concerned about a vote since Lambert versus Allen from American Idol, which I thought was really funny.
Which I'm sure went over so many people's heads, but like actually not, because everybody watches Glee, probably watches American Idol. It was hysterical.
that was really
was a good
funny.
line.
It was very funny.
I liked that.
I really like that too. I think that's pretty much it with the school elections. Can we talk about Santana? The
Let's
big
get
issue?
into it.
Okay. Yeah. Let's dive in.
I don't even know if I can do the diving, guys. I don't know what to say about this. I don't know what side I'm on right now. I mean, not that there are really sides, but I feel bad for Santana, but she's just such a bitch at first.
Yeah.
Like, they sing these songs for her, and Kurt and Blaine come out, and they sing this rockin' song for her.
One of my favorite songs.
Yeah, Pink
Love.
song.
Yes.
Beepin' perfect. I'm not going to say it again. Can't say it twice on tonight's episode. Drop the F-bomb. And she's like, Wow. Thank you guys for making my life just a little more miserable.
Yeah, she was really like
That was
extra
like
nasty.
really nasty.
All right, just to defend Santana, she had to have an arc. She couldn't just come out the gate and be nice because
Well,
someone
of
sang a
course.
song.
Why
to
can't
her.
you just come out the gate and be nice? The gay, did you say?
the gate?
Oh, I'm like, why can't you just come out and be gay and be nice? Like, does everybody who comes out have to be mean?
No,
Gate.
yeah,
Because I'm coming out, I get to be a bitch for the day. Okay.
yeah, and there needed to be that scene with her and Finn where he really explained why
Yeah.
he was pushing so hard for everyone to support her because
Because
of
who
how
else forgot that
important-
that was his first?
I didn't.
I mean,
did.
I didn't forget like that didn't happen, but I was like, oh, maybe that's why he's fighting so hard. Clearly,
I didn't think of that. I just thought because
Yeah.
he felt so poorly about what had happened.
Right, yeah.
That was why he was
but
fighting
he's
so
such a
hard.
guy who like really would care about who he lost his virginity
Yeah,
to.
he
You know
would.
what I mean? Like that's very much so him. So it was a good point, I think. But she's just so mean to him still.
Yeah.
It was, but finally, when he sings that unbelievable song,
Oh my gosh, he was so good.
I've never heard this. Thank God for you, because we
Yeah,
were like,
never heard it
What
either.
is this? So it's Girls Just Want to Have Fun, slowed down.
By Greg Glaswell.
by
is the,
Greg
is the
Glaswell.
artist who covered that.
and that
by
was
Cyndi
great.
Lauper. It is.
It was amazing.
It's beautiful.
Okay, who knew that Finn could sing like that?
What I think was so great was it was the first time that they hadn't been stretching Finn's vocals to like a higher
Why
register.
do they do that?
I have no idea.
That's what you have Kurt for.
Right.
Like,
and Blaine and,
and
all
Blaine,
these
Blaine, yes.
people.
I like. it was
I
the
want him to
first-
sing like that forever.
He didn't.
too.
He didn't look constipated.
No.
he looked relaxed.
His voice sounded great. He was actually, I will go as far to say, sexy in this song. It was sexy.
Yeah.
His little look over to Rachel during it, like,
Yeah, that was cute.
girl,
I really liked that
him
one.
singing right to Santana, him maturing, growing up. So, it didn't look strained at all.
No.
It was just so relaxed and comfortable and clearly in the zone that it was like,
Do this more.
what the hell, Glee? Why haven't you been putting him on this kind of stuff? He needs this like acoustic type, not rock and roll, but like alternative, slow, sexy
Like all-
voice
Yeah.
thing.
Deep. Like
Deep.
that lower
Yeah.
tone.
Yeah.
It worked. It worked for him.
Why aren't we giving him like Ben Harper or Coldplay, even like different things,
Yeah.
and not making him go up the octave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Can anybody explain this at all?
I just think it comes down to them picking more. They don't usually employ music like that. Most of the music they use is really poppy, and all pop music goes up because it's to show how well a singer can sing. Songs are crafted like that. Like most pop singers are crafted to show off like an intense register, and that's the sort of music that Glee picks because it's what will sell their records on iTunes and whatever.
Right.
And so they pick those sort of songs where it's more about showing off what a vocalist can do rather than just letting the music be
But
emotional.
the thing is, what you're saying is true most of the time. But of this night, I'm going home and I'm downloading him singing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I'm probably downloading every song because I thought
This
it was
is like
great.
the first episode. There's literally like 1, 2, 3, 4 songs that aren't like pop hits.
Yeah.
the-
Okay.
the-
So
the song that
so
it
we had
closed with.
I'm the only one. Not a pop hit.
Of recent. Like,
Yeah,
that's
of
from
recent, yeah,
mid-90s.
yeah.
The Greg Glaswell song, Jolene, is
Yeah.
very old. And the Katie Lang song that it closed with, which is gorgeous and beautiful, but
it was
is
so pretty.
like, you had never even heard of the artist. Like,
Yeah,
that's how
I've never heard of the
obscure
artist.
that was.
I didn't know the song. Google barely knew the song. Like we were
Find
sitting
it.
there.
We're like, what is this?
Yeah, but
song?
you were on it tonight. You're like, I know this. I know this. So we had I Kissed a Girl, though, which
Yeah.
can bring us deeper into the Santana. Wait, just to, I know I'm side-talking a little bit. Snicks, that's great. Why haven't we
Her
seen...
other evil personality.
other
It wasn't just her evil personality. It was the other
other
one. 'cause
evil
she
personality.
already has
She
an
cannot be
evil
responsible.
one.
Why
what
haven't we
Snicks
heard
does.
her talk about Snicks before? Like, why was Snicks not introduced day one, season 1?
Because she pulled out her ass
She was
today.
making it up.
No, she wasn't. There's a Snicks in there, and I know it. No, I thought that was freaking awesome, though. But okay, so going into I Kissed a Girl, Santana is walking down the hall, and this guy on whatever the rugby lacrosse captain
Yeah.
something team,
Rugby.
douchebag guy, comes up and is like, I can turn you straight.
I can turn you normal.
Yeah, I can
I
turn
can,
you
I can
normal.
straighten you out.
And the second, all the girls came up and were like,
Perfect. Loved it.
loved it. Everybody band together, which is what I love about Glee. It's like when the important shit happens, they're all there. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the petty stuff that and they yap at each other, but they all banded together and they all were singing. And my only question about this song, it was awesome and sound brilliant, but why was Britney not doing the song with Santana?
I agree
Just
with
because
that.
she can't sing it?
I think probably for that reation, yeah. I think that
It was kind of weird to me that Rachel was
yeah.
doing it with Santana. Did that not seem weird?
Well, I
Like,
think it-
Rachel was like, and like
Yeah.
winking, and I'm like, but what?
Well, I have a
are you
feeling
doing?
because the parts that Rachel sang were the parts that were higher, and Britney's voice, we've never heard her do that. She usually stays.
And Santana can't really.
And Santana was doing like the lead vocal of the song, and Britney was taking like the other.
And Rachel was taking the other.
Yes, excuse me, Rachel was taking it, and also I think it just goes back to the fact that Glee just uses Leah Michelle a lot. They just plugged her
Agreed.
into it.
Yeah, but you know what? We're getting a lot of Santana right now.
I Santana fan, loving it.
Do you know that every one of my roommates is like, well, they aren't, how do I say it, musically intelligent per se, but they're like, Santana has the best voice on the show. Now, I will not say that technically Santana's voice is the best on the show, but I like the sound of her voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably the most.
She has a good
so that's what they
quality.
mean by that, of course.
There's like that throaty, like sexy quality to her voice. That's what's so appealing, I think.
Yeah, and she rocks it, and she's an unbelievable performer. And today, if you were watching in I Kissed a Girl, it was so suiting because Santana was walking, and Rachel was walking right behind her. And for the first time, Rachel was in Santana's shadow.
Yeah.
Directly in her
look
shadow.
at you.
And I was like, yeah. Yeah, you are, Rachel Berry. Like, you go, Santana. And I just thought that was awesome. I thought she was killing it. I was just going to say, you were talking about how we hear that she came out to her parents, but we didn't see it. And you wanted to see it. Did you feel better after she came out to her abuela because we got to see that at least?
Okay,
I mean, not feel better about abuela's reaction, but...
I'm going to pause you for that second. I want to comment on I Kissed a Girl.
Okay.
As cheesy as I think it is to have the lesbian on the show sing, I Kissed a Girl. I thought, one, I agree with you. I think Britney should have definitely sang that with her if she could, or if we couldn't have Rachel in every song singing
that
every
would be
single
nice.
episode. But I don't know. I felt like Lee could have done more. I think it satisfied fans because it satisfied me. Like, I thought it was great. And with the whole bringing in all the girls and making it like a girl empowerment song and not just, a Leslie type song, I thought that part was great. But I just felt slightly cheated just a little bit.
In what way?
In that I Kissed a Girl is not about, it's not about being gay. It's about just having fun, which I see them showing that part too.
Right.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't really come out until after I Kissed a Girl, and I liked it, and I was just like, okay, cool, here we go.
Yeah.
So I get the point of the song, but I just felt, I thought her ending song was a lot better and more fitting than I Kissed a
Right.
Girl. I thought it was just fun, and it worked, and it brought all the girls together.
And I think
and
that
they were walking down the hallway.
that's what it was sort of for.
Yeah.
And at that
We
point was to be like the pop song.
We
of the
needed it.
episode.
I will say I do think it was necessary.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was necessary for that song, but I can't really think of another song that could have replaced it as well.
Yeah, and I wanted her to kiss Britney. How you gonna sing I Kissed
That
a
was
Girl and
messed
not
up.
Kiss a Girl?
How at the very end of the song, there should have been a kiss.
Yes.
What was
Yeah.
going on there?
Yeah, there wasn't a kiss in the entire episode.
The entire episode.
Like the name of the episode
Is I
I
Kissed a
Kissed a Girl.
No kiss.
No. Actually, we did see
She kissed her on
Cooter
the-
kiss Sue.
Oh.
He kissed a girl and he liked it. Unfortunately, yeah, but like I don't get why. Why did they have that not happen?
Yeah, it was
No
very
time
weird.
for it. Just didn't think of it.
I don't know. It was really
Unfair.
bizarre.
We've seen them kiss before, so
Yeah, it was
yeah,
just.
we have.
Wait, have we seen them kiss before?
I go
I don't know.
silence.
I
We're
know,
all
that's
trying to rack
silence.
our brain for the episode.
I don't know. I think we've just seen them talk about it
Yeah.
What's
because they've
going
talked
on?
about
We've seen
making
it.
out. Yeah, that's very weird. I don't understand it, and I don't think it's like an aversion to, homosexual love because obviously we see Blaine and Kurt kiss all the time, and
All the
usually,
time.
usually it's weird.
We saw them have footsie sex.
Right, and usually networks are more afraid to show
Guys and
gays than
girls.
lesbians
Yeah.
because lesbians everyone thinks that's just sexy and cute and they are okay with that. So it is very weird.
Especially
that-
when they have two hot girls.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
neither of them are particularly.
right, and so it is very weird that that hasn't happened yet.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at that and make sure.
Yeah, if you're listening,
Yeah,
and
I
you
was just
can
gonna- I was just
recall,
gonna-
Like, please let us
please call us 424-256-1729.
Call us and
remind
say,
us, 'cause
are
we
you guys
cannot
kidding me?
remember.
They kissed an episode. Da, 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 da. Be
Because
like,
we cannot think of it.
yeah. Well, otherwise, we'll go home and do some research. I'll tweet about that later
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, okay, so now for Santana, when she comes out to Abuela,
Oh, yeah.
oh my God.
It was sad, but I knew, I felt
knew
it
it.
coming.
Yeah,
it
I felt
wasn't.
coming.
It wasn't
'Cause
going to
it was
happen
not
that
gonna
her
be as
parents
easy
were
as
okay.
Kurt,
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
it was not going to be as easy as a coming out as Kurt had. Like, it would be like too.
Kurt's
Yeah.
wasn't easy.
But with his family, it was. And so it would be too cheap to have that be like the exact
thing.
same thing. Like, she needs to have the family strife that Kurt didn't have, so we can see that, because there are people who don't.
No, but
who
do you
experience
remember
that.
Bert was all up in Kurt's grill and was like, "Are you serious?" And then Kurt tried to be straight and bring Brittany back to the house and tried to go hunting with his dad and wore like all different clothes for a while.
But wasn't that more so on Kurt's end?
That was
than
on
Bert?
Kurt. That wasn't Bert. Because
I'm
Bert
just saying
was
it
like,
wasn't easy.
But that was because
him.
of Kurt.
Yeah, it's
Kurt
not that
never
his
felt
fam-
it
yeah.
from his parents, and I think that it's responsible of Glee to show that
Mm-hmm.
coming out isn't always as easy. I mean, it's just more realistic to be like,
Yeah.
it's not always everyone in your family accepts you, because sometimes it's not like that.
Yeah.
And that should be a representation on TV as well, to see how people persevere through that.
Definitely.
There was a line her grandmother said, which I love to hate because it's not a nice thing, but the fact
was
that they
well
put it in
phrased,
there,
yeah.
yeah. She said it's selfish of you to make me uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
But that's how
that struck
some
home for me
people,
too.
you know?
That's how somebody could possibly view the situation as that
it's an affront on them rather than anything that's bothering. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me how if somebody else is coming out, how I could possibly take it personally in any way, positively or negatively.
Unless
like,
maybe you're their like girlfriend and they're the boy coming out.
exactly.
Maybe
like,
that.
exactly. Like I can be proud. I could be angry.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of emotions I could feel, but how I could feel like, oh yay, you're doing this for me, or oh boo, you're doing this to me. Like neither one of those things really work. So it's ridiculous but realistic. It happens. People say this all the time, and
Yeah.
it's like, do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? Do we think that was about? Was that a racial difference, but like a cultural difference, a generational difference?
I think it was generational, because obviously her parents were okay with it and her grandma wasn't. But I do think that it did have to do, because obviously they are Latino and they seem to be like Catholic, I would imagine.
She brought up the whole sin.
Right. She said that it was the sin, and I do think that it was speaking of those really heavy like Catholics that are sometimes that we recognize in the Latino community. And I think that was what it was sort of trying to show.
What was that quote she was like,
She said
we
it's
all
not
have
the
secret. Yeah.
we all have secrets,
have-
but
it's not the secret.
But secret, what did you say? Secrets
It's
are
the
secret.
actions.
yeah, she said
Oh,
it's not the sin of the action, but it's the sin of the people, of something
Of the
about-
gossip,
the sin of
basically,
telling or something
yeah.
like that. Although
Yeah.
the sin of the scandal.
The sin of
Yeah.
the scandal. Exactly. And that was like,
Which is even worse, because it's not even like she's condoning what she does, but she doesn't want other people to know it.
she's not
or
condoning how
something.
Exactly.
she feels or what she, exactly. And I don't,
She's like, you are who you are, but keep that.
That's just more
yourself.
selfish and
Yeah.
more.
yeah, that was really sad for me. But at least she does have support.
Right.
It's the people
Yeah.
who have no support anywhere that it's really hard for. So, I mean, it's hard for everybody, but I mean, I feel at least that she has her parents have her back and her friends at school.
And if her parents are there, the grandma more than likely will come around.
Hopefully.
You think we're going to be seeing a little bit of that?
I would hope to.
would be nice.
Just for
be
Santana's
nice.
sake. I want that to feel good, but
When
I
the-
mean, it might not.
The grandma kicked her out of the house. Was that the grandma's house or was that Santana's?
That was
the
the grandma's
grandma's
house. Like,
house.
she had
Okay,
come over
come
and
over
her
to
grandma
visit.
was cooking for her.
And they
yeah.
seem pretty close.
Yeah.
Well, remember she said in the past episode that her grandma like raised her, and she said that she used to raise her on insults and
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that.
She thought her name was
Exactly.
Garbage Space.
That was awesome. So, but overall, she had a realistic coming out experience, we think?
Yeah.
And she turns towards the end of the episode to be more grateful, and when she's singing that last song and when she has that moment with Finn, and this art seemed realistic to us.
I think so.
Yeah.
I thought that they did a really good job covering all the sides of it, kind of.
Yeah, I do too. I liked that we don't often see, when we see these coming out stories on TV, a lot of times it is with guys. And so it was nice that we're seeing it from a woman's perspective on coming out. because that doesn't happen a lot on TV. Usually when they tell a gay story, it's usually with a guy. They usually tell it as a gay rather than a lesbian.
Yeah.
So I like that they did that. I liked that they didn't just like copy the Kurt storyline over again. It was different. So you were able to invest and you wanted something to happen because it wasn't just like a repeat of what we'd already seen.
I totally agree. And I think it's awesome how, it sounds weird, but how vulnerable she's become, kind of, even to the little details, such as when she's voting for Brittany, putting the heart around the box.
And kissing it.
Yeah.
She loves her. And when you're in love, you're vulnerable and you're open and you're changing as a person and you're growing. And you're either growing up or you're growing down. And she seems to be growing up.
Right, and she was fighting against that, I think. I think she was so scared of that vulnerability, and that's where all that nastiness was coming from for so many weeks now. But I do think that, I mean, hopefully we have seen her turn a corner and really start to accept it and grow from it rather than push it away and sort of regress.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think we pretty much covered the episode. Do you guys have anything you want to add before we cut to commercial and then get some news and gossip?
No, I thought it was great. I mean, I would have liked to have seen more of, Santana and Brittany on the gay episode. But
I think, we even talked about every song that we had, too. And, I guess we're killing it tonight, guys.
we're killing it.
Yeah, okay, so let's cut to commercial and then come back for some awesome news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
I'm doing a little bit of interpretive dance over here to that commercial. How long have we had that one for, Jess?
What do you want to buzz about?
Yeah, like the whole Marvin Gaye ending was
like
just
a week and a half. I love it though. It gets me
I mean,
in the mood.
I will be grooving to that every single time it plays. Absolutely. Like, I'm really rocking the interpretive dance movements right now.
I complained because it was a little bit long for me, but it does it for me.
Yeah, I like it.
Pushes the right buttons.
It does.
All right, let's get to some news and gossip, por favor.
We also changed the news and gossip button. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I was to say, don't do that to me. I actually like all the sound effects here.
Predictions.
All right, so Darren Criss, who will soon make his Broadway debut in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, will make a guest appearance at Sing Out, Raise Hope, December 17th, in the Star Theater at Alice Tully Hall. The event will raise funds for the Trevor Project and the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation.
Aww.
Always love hearing when people are doing good things with their fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, then why the hell are you famous?
What's the point?
And
Make a difference.
I want to go see How to Succeed Without
I
Really
know.
Trying.
I do too. Let's field trip.
And I
Yes.
I
Field trip,
missed
AfterBuzz.
I missed
Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm like Harry Potter, and I missed Daniel Radcliffe in it, but I saw him in Equus, so yeah, we should just go do that.
Yeah.
I'm down.
All right, so Corey Monteith and Leah Michele seem to have been caught kissing on camera, and not as part of a Glee storyline. Damian McGinty and Jenna Ushkwitz tweeted a photo of themselves, but it seems they didn't quite notice what was going on behind them. But Glee fans don't miss anything, and they were quick to point out what looks like Corey and Leah getting very cozy in the background. The photo has since been removed from Twitter, but unfortunately for them, it still exists online.
Wow.
Okay, so literally, you have to go check out this picture because literally in it, their faces. So it's a huge picture of. It's of
Damien and Jenna.
Yeah, I was gonna say of.
We don't have the
Of
picture.
Rory and what's Jenna I can't even think
I
of.
can't think of it.
I can't think of whatever. Okay, so there's the two of them, and then in the back, because we haven't seen her in so long.
I know.
In the background, it's like Corey and Lea Michele, like
Tina.
Tina. So Corey and Lea Michele, like this close to each other, like literally about to go in for the kill. And what a weird couple would that be in real life?
Yeah, in real life, he's like
would be weird.
8 feet taller than her.
It'd be very interesting.
So, Diana Agron has given a little insight into what her life was like before she hit the big time with the musical television series. Diana revealed how she was living a place that was so bad that she once returned from a dance class to be greeted by a helicopter above her apartment and a SWAT team at the apartment block entrance. Agron explained, "When I first moved to LA, I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment and it got a little seedy around our area. One time, SWAT was at our building because somebody's house guest had gone off their meds and was schizophrenic and shouting, 'He's going to kill me, he's going to kill me.' Somebody called the cops. I'm coming home from a dance class and I see this chopper circling my building and SWAT all downstairs."
Do we expect this from her?
I'm surprised she
I mean,
could
it's
afford to live in a
LA.
1-bedroom when she wasn't working.
Valid point.
That's expensive.
That's true. That's true.
I've had SWAT and helicopters around both my places I lived in here, so
It's just natural in LA.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
LA.
I can never really tell when people tell stories about their past. Like, you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
And you can live in a nice, like, my building is very nice, but it's in a weird neighborhood. But
I
your
mean,
building could be, like, beautiful.
do you know who you're talking to? I live in between Watts and Compton.
Yeah.
And my apartment's beautiful, but I walk
Live
out
between Watts
I walk
and
out the door and people get shot. Like, so I totally feel you on that one. So it's hard to tell, like, whenever anybody tells stories about their own life, it's like,
LA is just like that, though.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
I live on Wilshire, and that happens all the time.
Yeah,
So, I
that's
mean,
true.
LA is, it's a big city.
you can be in Beverly Hills and you're not completely, you never know. So,
I know,
yeah.
like, I live on a dividing line. One side is hood, the other side is Larchmont.
Everyone
Like,
is like
Yeah.
that, I think. One side
Gotcha.
is hood and one side isn't.
All right, so Ricky Martin is in talks to guest star on Glee, despite creator Ryan Murphy's insistence earlier this year that there would be no celebrity cameos in season 3. Regardless, the episode, which will air in late January, would find Ricky playing, as TV Line source put it, the hottest Spanish teacher ever in the history of Ohio. The former boy bander and solo artist would, of course, also headline a few musical numbers.
I don't want him to headline a few. I just want him to headline one.
One,
I don't want him
yes,
to come in and,
one.
like, take over the show.
I think even though it says a few, I think it was 3. 2 to 3.
I
It
really
was in
just
talks
want one.
for. What do we think about him coming on in general?
I think that's
I
fun.
think it's cool.
Yeah.
I actually love,
I like guest stars.
cameos. I think
don't
it's
Live
great.
la vida
Yeah.
loca. If he sings that, I'll melt a little bit. Okay, anyway, yeah, we're all laugh at Roxy.
Or she bangs.
Gotta pull out a fan for you.
She bangs.
know. That'd be so inappropriate.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
We're in a bad neighborhood.
SWAT!
Helicopter.
He's gonna kill me!
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
So it looks like Glee has found a legitimate excuse for Cord Overstreet to lose his shirt when Sam returns to McKinley High. Indeed, Trody Mouth will get in touch with his spirit animal when he joins the McKinley synchronized swim team in an effort to win back Mercedes.
Hey.
According to a show insider, look for Sam to have his moment in episode 10, airing in January, which will introduce us to a quartet of yet-to-be-cast characters, all of which have the potential to be recurring.
Oh.
Really?
Interesting.
A synchronized swim team? The school has it all.
Literally, I think that they only put him on the swim team so we can look at his naked body.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why else?
Which is just fine by me.
Right.
Like, okay.
Well, it looks like we already get to see him naked almost next week.
Oh, right.
Yeah, wait, what's the deal with him coming back? And
Why did he ever leave?
He left because, remember, his dad lost his job, and they said that his dad got a job out of state, and so that's why they left.
Oh, that was
No.
what they said in the beginning.
he
no,
found work.
no, I'm not saying why did Sam leave. I'm
Oh,
saying
why did-
why did
Oh, Cord
Cord
left.
leave.
Cord left because they didn't want to make him a series regular, and he wanted a regular contract.
Exactly. So why is he back?
Because fans wanted him back.
And
That's why, and he had nothing else happening. So
do you think he's still he's going to be a recurring?
he's just going to be a guest star. Yeah.
Guest star.
I don't think
Yeah.
they can add him back to the series.
Oh well.
I would like them to.
Trouty mouth. I
He's
remember
cute,
that.
and he has a cute little haircut now.
What do we think about there was like a whole entire list of potentials for reoccurring roles that they had coming in this synchronized swim team. Can we really add that many more characters to the show?
I know. What I think is so funny is, they also, with the whole thing with Ricky Martin, at the beginning of the season, everyone was, so up in arms about last season, about how there were too many guest stars, how there were too many, like, high-profile people, the episodes weren't about the main characters, and they're like, we're not going to do that anymore, we're not going to do any of those. And they're doing all of it, like, all over again, even though they said they wouldn't. They said they weren't going to have guest stars, and we're already casting Ricky Martin.
Yeah.
They said they weren't going to be, like, these new characters, and there's
And
gonna be
Idina
4 people
Menzel
on
is a
the
regular on the show. Like,
right. And they said there weren't going to be any more tribute episodes, and I've already heard that there's one coming. So it's like, you can never believe what Ryan Murphy says pretty much ever, because he always changes his
But I don't
mind.
really mind that because I think he kind of adapts to the situation, and
Right.
it's
As
like
he should.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. Like, it's very political, It's like, what do you if just because you said something, if that's not the right thing to do at the time, are you just gonna stick by it because you said it? You
Right.
know. So I don't mind that.
You got to give the fans what they want.
And we want Ricky, and we want Cord naked.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I love it still.
Okay. So what do we see next week? We see that Darren versus Finn kind of thing. They had a confrontation.
Finally, because Finn treats Blaine like crap for no reason.
I always call him Darren because I don't call him Blaine ever.
Because
I
you
just
have a
think
crush?
because I think of him as Darren. He's just so sexy.
Yes. But
He is so hot. Oh my god! In People magazine.
It's time for Blaine to call him out.
Call Finn out.
Because he treats him
Finn's
like
such
crap.
an asshole to him. Like
Yeah,
he's so
He's
rude.
he's clearly so. There is a reason, because he's jealous and he's afraid of him taking his place because of how good he is.
And
That's
Blaine's more talented, but if he had wanted to take Finn's place, he already could have done it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he hasn't yet.
And he hasn't. Why do I have ABC written down?
Well, they were singing ABC.
Oh yes. I'm like
Because they're going to
ABC?
sectionals. We're going to sectionals next week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they definitely didn't
Oh,
build
right.
that up enough.
No, they didn't.
I'm sitting here like, what do you mean? So what do we think's gonna happen between New Directions
And the Trouble
tie.
Tones.
and Trouble Tones? Tie?
It can't be a tie. That'd be
Again?
so lazy. They need to definitively say which one is
They did
better.
the tie,
Okay,
remember?
Trouble
They
Tones.
did that first
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, they did.
It's like,
Don't do it
That
again.
Well,
doesn't-
then
that
I want the
doesn't
girls to
happen.
win. I am girl power all the way. Trouble Tones.
and Rachel Berry's not singing.
Yeah.
So,
Even more reason why the Trouble Tones
and
should
who
win.
the hell are they? What female singers do they have now?
Tina?
Well, question, guys.
Quinn?
Do you think that maybe that they would,
Quinn.
since we have a new season coming up and we're going to be losing cast members, the Trouble Tones will now be the new Glee group, and that's what the story will revolve itself
With
around?
all the synchronized swimmers coming? Maybe. I don't know.
possible.
Now
It's
that we have this possibility with the college situation and them not going,
Yeah. But we also have to think there's going to be something. Shelby's not going to stick around because Quinn is going to do something. And the Trouble Tones, they're going to be put. I think there's going to be. I predict there's going to be an issue where the Trouble Tones may not be able to exist because there won't be a coach for them.
and so in that
Any
case,
longer.
will everybody go back to?
I think everybody
Well, they
will
would
go
have
back
to.
to New Directions.
Well, more so.
Or they'll have
well,
to find
if,
another
if the
coach.
Trouble Tones win, then the New Directions will have to come to them and join their group because technically it would be their title that won. You know, like
Right.
their name. their
Unless
group.
it's their title that's getting shut down.
Well,
Unless
no,
they
the Trouble
lose
Tones are
it.
gonna win.
Well, if their coach then is found out to have had sex with a student, they might have it taken away.
Oh, forfeited. Oh, they
And-
can't punish the students.
I think they can.
Yeah, I think so.
But you can't. You mean, by they can't, you mean they shouldn't?
Yes.
You don't want them to? I feel you on that. I think that's about all I can predict.
Well, and I'm interested in why they were going to look for Sam. I'm assuming
Yeah,
to get him to
because
come
they
back
lost
and they need
Rachel,
help
yeah.
for sectionals.
Maybe.
They need a
That's
smoking
true.
gun.
Or they just need him to stand there shirtless on stage.
And he's stripping now. I'm wondering what this is.
Although
He has to make money.
sex has not helped them in the past on stage, aka Rachel Finn kissing at the end of the
Yeah.
number. So hopefully, we're hoping that the Trouble Tones win. We're predicting that they do.
Yeah, do you guys agree with that? Or is that just me?
I agree, but then I hope the whole group joins back together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I love the family all happy and
Me
together.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's it for this week, and we will see you here next week.
Yep.
Where we can see who actually wins and if we are right. Bye, Gleeks.
Bye-bye.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.